Thanks for joining us for another great recording here at Street Smart Options. It's Jim Bunker and Jonathan Sherman. Hey, tonight we're going to be talking about a stock that Jonathan went ahead and identified way back in December of 2017. Now, folks, if you appreciate the training that we do here on Street Smart Options, one of the ways to make sure you're not going to miss out on anything else that Jonathan has identified as being an opportunity is by going ahead and hitting that subscribe button when you're on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any other great content, because we talked about this stock way back in December of 2017. It was December 18th, actually, Jonathan. And back then, there wasn't even actually an option on this stock. The stock we're going to be looking at is Canopy Growth, and it's one of those that you've identified. It's a newer company, and something you've identified that we can keep an eye on. So again, folks, it's not always just about the standard stocks that are out there on the market. We're also looking for other opportunities for you to join us and make some money in the stock options world. So, Jonathan, you want to take us through Canopy Growth and what's happened between December 18th of last year and now?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, your introduction was spot on. It's Canopy Growth is a cannabis company. They grow pot marijuana, and they label themselves as a medicinal pot company. They were the first publicly traded company that grows cannabis, and they have a variety of products. If you click on the product tab here in their website, they sell the dried flower, oils and concentrates, and let's see, we've got the soft gel capsules and hemp. And the reason this company started doing well is because of the legalization efforts in several states in the United States, that where cannabis is now legal, Colorado being among them. Washington State, I believe, is another. So this company is obviously it's dependent upon legislative growth or legislative changes in the United States to drive their growth, but they are a leader in their area, and they're good at it, and so the market started rewarding them when their earnings started. I shouldn't say their earnings, when their sales started taking off. Because let's take a look at their earnings and a little bit more about the company here. Look at their financials. So if you go to first the income statement, on the annual income statement here, you can see actually, the growth has really been jettisoning up here. You can see 2015 was just 1.8 million in annual sales, and fast forward 3 years later, they're at 78 million, right? So that's quite a projection. That's quite a growth phenomenon. So you look down though, and you can see that their SG&A line is greater than their gross profit line. Their SG&A is $82 million, right? And so they've been actually losing quite a bit of money. But investors believe that with their growth, that they will be profitable soon, maybe in the next couple of years. And so if you look at the cash flow, they're also cash flow negative, not surprising considering their amount of loss on their income statement here. Total cash flow from operating activities minus 81 million. Now, of course, how do they finance all this? Well, they finance all this with sale of stock, right? $482 million worth of stock was sold in 2018, or they should say a year-end 2018 financial year. And then in 2017, they sold 137 million. So obviously they've been financing the operations with sale of stock. And why not? You're a company that's losing money and the market's willing to buy your stock, you're going to sell a lot of it, right? So, but investors still like the company. If you look at the analysis here, the analysis estimates are not available. It's a Canadian company, and so not a lot of U.S. analysts follow this company. Pretty obvious here. If we look now, skip ahead to the stock chart. When we first talked about it in Facebook in December 18, 2017, we were looking at it in this little tight consolidation area end of December, and the stock was already up quite a bit, right? The stock had a low in June of 2017 of around 5-ish, and by December it was trading up here At the close, the last close was 15, about 15 and a half, 1560. And so it had already seen a triple in its price. And we were actually trading it down here in this little handle area when it blasted up. And then this gave a second opportunity here with the 10-week moving average catching up to this tight consolidation on the chart. And at the time, the stock symbol for it was TWMJF. So it was actually an OTC stock and didn't have any options associated with it. So we were just trading the stock. We weren't trading any options on it. But it had just phenomenal price volume action in the chart, right? It had this long basing area dating back to 2014. And then it blasted off initially in September of 2016 in this area in here, and then went through a long prolonged consolidation, lasted about a year, and then set up again and blasted higher. And stocks that show this potential to really move, you really got to keep an eye on for the future, because okay, they exhaust their initial move here, right? This thing went from initially from 2 to 14 and it exhausted that move, and it took a long time to recuperate. But you got to keep your eye on it, because this kind of move it can duplicate. And sure enough, with this stock, it bottomed at 5 and then started seeing this tight consolidation, this tight action again. Volume started picking up again in the chart, and that's what caught our interest, is right about here with these volume spikes. And we already had our eye on this space because it was outperforming the market. And this particular stock really had some nice price volume action, really tight consolidation in here, and then it blasted up on earnings report, and then it tight consolidation. So that's when we talked about it in the group. We talked about it here in December, and then subsequently this was about 15-16, and the stock went ahead and did a double from there. On the chart it was here 15-16, and this is shooting back to today, which is July 3rd 2018, right? But it did this catapult from 16 to 36-ish within 4 weeks time, and so that was quite a run. And then this just gave you plenty of opportunity to get out when it spiked on this big red volume bar here, and it actually went higher even the next week. But it was an opportunity to get out over here. It had exhausted its near-term run, and since then it's consolidated and it's still consolidating, and there might be more opportunity for it in the future. So right now it is actually optionable, because it is now listed on a major exchange in the United States. Its symbol changed from this TMW, whatever it was, TMWJF, I think, yeah, TWMJF, and now the symbol is CGC, so it's traded on a major exchange in the United States, and you can trade options on it. Now, the setup here it may work. It's possible. It's actually outperforming the market. You got a big positive spike in volume here, but then that's offset by this big negative spike here the following week. So it kind of reversed. Of course, the market's been weak, but we're keeping an eye on it, and we're going to see if this thing sets up again going forward in the next couple of months, and it very well may set up. The market itself right now is getting itself in gear for it looks like another run in momentum stocks. It doesn't feel like the market's going to roll over here. I mean, you can't really know for sure, but the stocks themselves are acting pretty well in the overall market. Charts are holding up, and a lot of stocks are setting up. And in fact, if we go to the major averages, which is kind of interesting, I don't know how if this is going to play out or not, but if you go to like the S&P 500 here, and this is a weekly chart, you can see that we're in this like consolidation, and you could call it a little handle phase here in the major indices. And the better stocks are going to look a lot cleaner than this, right? The better stocks are going to look a little more handly, a little more tight, and then this little handle phase. So a lot of stocks are actually setting up right now, which are possibilities. And if you look over to the NASDAQ, you can see the NASDAQ actually made a new high up here, and there's a lot of stocks right now setting up. So it's worth keeping an eye on momentum stocks right now after this little correction that we're in, to see to look for opportunities and find opportunities. So the cannabis space is an interesting space. It's worth keeping an eye on, and Canopy Growth is the leader in the space. So we're going to be watching it going forward.
All right, fantastic, Jonathan. Thanks for bringing us all up to speed on that. So again, folks, if you're not already a member of our membership group over on Facebook, it's 100% free, and you can find us at www.facebook.com/groups/Street Smart Options. You can also always come to our website and take a look at our paid programs that we have for educating you about trading on the stock market and how you can get started making some money with the trading and advice that Jonathan has put together, and our lengthy training program that we've got there. Thanks for joining us tonight, and have a great day.